Hey, what is up, guys? It is your boy, Kingdom Soldier, and I'm back again with another commentary. And Soldier says, I'm very thankful for the Sticks EU. What I want to talk to you guys today about is actually the acquisition of Aware's league spot in the MLG COD League Season 2 that was earned by these players that found out actually because it was announced on the ESR yesterday. There was a big uproar. There was owners that got involved because it sounded like the league spot was purchased by TCM, which is an EU team, for only $3,000. Now, that, of course, was an issue to other owners like the SB owners that would have paid way more than $3,000 to get back into the MLG COD League. What actually has happened from the TCM owners, from their organization, it sounds like it was at least a 5-figure number. So it's $10,000 or more that was paid for the league spot. And TCM, one of the top EU teams, is moving to the US. Now, the roster for that team is Jerd, Shane, Gunchy, and Moose. The players who are now out of the COD League, well, were out of the COD League temporarily for some of them. TJ already found a spot on Elevate. Is TJ Halley, Hook, Happy, and Accuracy. Accuracy, who's playing in COD Champs with the Orbit roster. And so these players found out that that Aware wasn't going to be in the league on the ESR. And if they weren't watching the ESR, that means they found out according to Twitter. I was watching the Sticks EU this morning, and one of the owners from another team from Excel was on there, and he talked about the fact that it was a 5-figure number. Nobody knows exactly how much, but they know it was 5 figures. And I was like, well, I already made a video talking about how it was 3,000 and it was crazy. So luckily, I got this information from the Sticks EU, and I was able to change this and give you guys accurate information. So it sounds like at least the number that that it was purchased for was a good number. So this is something that's never happened before. So we've had Swanee do this before, and as an individual, but we've never had a EU team play in the COD League. Now my first question was, well, they're not going to play in the COD League from Europe. Like, that's not going to happen. They're not going to be able to play from the EU. And so they are actually moving to the US. I'm guessing they're going to get a team house. Now, here's the questions I have. If they're like every other roster, what happens if their players get traded or somebody else wants to pick them up because they're playing well? Are these players committing that they're going to move to the United States as a career choice? Period. This is a big deal. It's a big accomplishment. And if you've never heard of TCM, you will have now. I think that this could be a good thing. I'm just hoping, and we should all send prayers up for TCM, that they don't come all the way over here to get wrecked, to get smacked by some of these NA teams. We're going to actually get to see what happens when an EU team spends time in the States and actually gets used to the sleep schedule. There's no jet lag. Can they hold their own against some of the best teams in the world at competitive Call of Duty? So this is a big announcement. I feel really bad for the players, and I think that this is indicative of the fact that, and I've said it multiple times, there's got to be some representation for these players. I think that a union is a big leap that we're not ready to make, especially because we have minors that are playing competitive Call of Duty as professionals. However, something's got to give. Something has to happen, because we've changed from having the owners get these big shocks and be surprised when their players leave their teams or leave them completely, like what happened to SB back in the day after they won regionals and went to champs, and then it was like their whole roster was like, well, I'm going to FaZe Black, and it was like they all decided that they were going to leave SB, and that was really unfortunate. Some of us are going to go to Optic Nation, and Justice had the same thing that happened to them with the Optics situation, and we've seen this a lot. But now that the owners are protected a little bit more as a result of the MLG COD League's rules, that the owners have to get together and make a decision, a player has to request to change teams. They can't just change teams. The players themselves are the ones who are now being left out to dry. We saw what happened with Noble when their whole roster got dropped to pick up a wannabe reunited Impact. That didn't really happen because Karma was like, no. But we also just saw what happened to Aware. Same situation where the team's league spot was sold and the players didn't find out until they saw it on ESR, on MLG. And so my thing is, Soldier says, We got to figure out a way to advocate better for these pro players so that they know these things in advance. I mean, look at all the announcements that we've had this year. All these tournaments, $600,000, and the way that things are going to be changed. The relegation tournament is going to be different next time. It's going to be a LAN. There's going to be like 28 teams that are going to be invited besides the 4 that are in the bottom of the league. And we've got a new weapon, a new patch that they've got to learn to play with. We've got a brand new map that these players have to learn to play with in 2.5 weeks. This information should be disseminated to them a lot earlier. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think about an EU team flying all the way over the water? Is this going to be the norm? Is Epsilon going to try to come to the US and join Season 3? Are we going to see EU teams leave the EU and come to the US? And even though they're going to be an EU organization, and I'm sure their business is going to be housed over there, but they're going to be playing and living over here, is this going to start a trend in your opinion? This is your boy Kingdom Soldier, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.